iPhone XS worth buying. So this guy right here is the smaller edition of the iPhone XS series, and a lot of people are comparing these together, but I want to put my sole focus on this guy for this video, as it's just confusing as ever this year on which iPhone to buy. Now, sales have been showing that the XS Max have easily outpaced this device, and that's to be expected. It is the more newer device of the two, but you can see this is a XS with the little slit right there and the little slit right there. So my aim in this video is to give you 5 reasons why this is not worth buying and 5 reasons why it is worth buying, and then come to a final conclusion to help you make a choice on this device right here. Okay, so we're going to begin with the reasons why it's not worth it to buy the iPhone XS. And the first reason is that the iPhone X exists. Now, I'm sure you expected me to talk about this one, but how could we not make a video if the iPhone XS is worth it without talking about the phone that is virtually identical? Now, the reason why I say that it might not be worth it because of the 10 is because when I've been using both of these phones, I've been seeing virtually no difference until I pull out the camera. Even the battery life is pretty close on both of them, but the iPhone X can now be found third party for $100 to $200 cheaper. And if you really look, you can even find people who really want to get rid of their 10 and are selling it at like $600 or $700. So it could be a significant savings. And really the only main difference I'm seeing is the cameras are a little bit better for the XS, and the battery life is slightly better, like half an hour better or so, but the displays are identical. The feel in the hand is just as premium on both, and even the speed with the A12 Bionic is not that felt on the day-to-day just yet with the XS versus the iPhone X. Yes, it's a little bit snappier on the day-to-day with iOS 12 over the 10, but that power, even though it is a much more powerful 7nm chipset, you really don't feel it in your day-to-day iOS use just yet on the iPhone XS versus using something like the iPhone X. All right, guys, so the second reason why this iPhone is not worth buying is that it has the worst battery life of the 3 new iPhones. The iPhone XR will have better battery life than the XS, as well as the XS Max with a bigger capacity, and I can confirm that the XS Max has been giving me better battery life. So that's the second reason why I wouldn't buy the iPhone XS. Okay, so for my third reason not to buy the iPhone XS, this comes down to you get more money with the iPhone XR that's coming up. Yes, you don't get a dual camera, but you're getting the same primary camera, which is the one that matters the most. Also with the XR, you're gonna get like mostly the same design. You're not gonna get the OLED panel, but you're gonna get most of what this phone offers with a slightly bigger screen, and it's gonna be much cheaper than buying this device. So I feel like the iPhone XS actually sits as a decoy to sell both the XR and the XS Max, because you look at this and you're like, person who wants a cheaper phone is just going to buy the XR, and a person who wants the best phone is just going to buy the XS Max. So this one's kind of like just here, kind of, I feel, to sell the XS Max or the XR. So I think the third reason is that you get more money for either of those phones, either the XR being the cheaper and giving you most of what you want, or if you want the best, why not just pay a little bit more and get the best Apple offers, which is the XS Max. So my fourth reason is that the notch is just more noticeable on the XS. So because you have a smaller screen, it's actually a lot easier to see. This is just something I've been noticing. The notch on the iPhone XS Max, look at all that display. There's just so much more display that your eye is less likely to go to see that notch up at the top. So yes, while they both have basically the same notch, it just seems like I'm looking at it more when I'm using this smaller display. So that's just something personally I've noticed and I really don't like about the smaller edition of this phone, and that applies to the iPhone X as well. So my fifth reason why I wouldn't buy the iPhone XS is because the XS Max exists. Why not get the phone that just offers more screen for around the same price? Yes, it's $100 more in pretty much every price tier, but at the same time, I'm pretty sure people can buy an iPhone XS, can buy a XS Max. And this device just offers more for the money. Even though it's a little bit more, at least you're getting the best and the biggest Apple has to offer. And I think just having that XS Max in the name is going to sell more phones, because if a consumer goes into a store and they see, should I get a XS or should I get a XS Max? The word max, they're gonna be like, okay, well, that must be the maximum. That must be the max of everything. So just give me the XS Max. All right, so now let's talk about the reasons I would buy this phone if I was you. So if you really liked the 10 last year, but you never got around to purchasing this device, but you still want Apple's latest specifications, you don't want to go with a last year's model, then the iPhone XS could be the perfect fit for you. And you don't really want a phablet style device, but again, you like last year's iPhone 10, but you don't want to invest in a year-old product. The iPhone XS is the perfect fit for you. My second reason is that you want that flashy gold color that you see here on my XS Max, but you want it in a smaller package. That is the iPhone XS. Or again, if you like the 10 last year, but you wish they brought that one in gold and you have no interest in larger phones, but you want it in gold, a flashy gold color, then the XS could be right up your alley. I got the space gray because I got the gold in the Max, but they do have it in that gold color. So that would be my second reason why the iPhone XS would make sense as a purchase. But that really is reaching for, a reason, because I don't think everybody's going to buy a phone just because of the color, but some people, you would be surprised, will literally buy a product just because of the color. My sister, for example, years ago, she was excited, super excited about buying a 5S just because it came in gold. So don't write that off as not a valid reason. The third reason is that you want a smaller 7nm smartphone. So this is kind of the only one right now with a 7nm chipset. That's that A12 Bionic chip with all that power. Now, Huawei is the only one keeping pace with Apple here with their Kirin 980 CPU that is going to launch in the Mate 20 Pro. But that phone is going to be huge, and you're probably not going to see a Huawei phone this small, right away with that kind of specification. So if you care about getting the most powerful CPU and GPU performance in the world and you don't want it in a large package, so if you want a more manageable size with great power, this is going to be basically your only offering. I mean, this phone is actually close to the size of an iPhone 6S or a 6, it just has more screen. So my fourth reason is the weight. So the iPhone XS Max is the heaviest iPhone ever. This phone is over 205 grams, and this one's 177 grams. Now, the iPhone XS Max, if that's too heavy for you and you want something that's more a lighter, a more pocketable design, maybe a phone you could put in your shirt pocket, a phone you can easily slip in a pocket, the iPhone XS Max is going to be more of a bag phone. So when you're going to put in your bag or in your purse if you're a lady, this device right here is just going to be a much lighter experience, but it still has enough weight to feel dense and premium. So that would be a good reason to buy the iPhone XS. So my fifth reason is the cameras of the iPhone XS. Now, the iPhone XS are the same cameras as the iPhone XS Max. And it's funny because last year Google took shots at Apple at their Pixel event and they were saying, we have the same camera on both our small and larger phone. I think Apple heard that because this year their small and larger phones have the same exact camera as well. So last year, if you wanted the more premium cameras, you would have to buy the iPhone X because it had even better cameras than the 8 Plus. But if you were like just in between those three phones, the iPhone 8 only had a single camera. This year, these guys have dual cameras, and even the XR will have the same primary camera. So this year, the camera value is better than last year's were. So in conclusion, who is the iPhone XS for? Now, it seems like it's not really going to fit well with most people because if you want a cheaper phone, like I said earlier, you can just get the iPhone XR and have a bigger screen and basically everything this phone offers besides that OLED display, them cameras, and the more premium stainless steel around the edges. So last year, if you bought the iPhone X, you went all out, you got all out. This year, if you go with the XS, you're going all out, but you're not really getting all out. Even though it might feel like you're going all out on the XS, there's something that's going even more all out, and that's the XS Max. So at $999, $1,000, you would think this is the best, but no, this is actually the second best. And that seems to be the popular belief based on the sales, based on what most people have been saying in the comments of videos. But again, best is subjective, and to some people with smaller hands, this is their XS Max. And I think that's the best thing about the XS. At least if you get it, you're not really missing too much if you go with this versus a XS Max, because mostly they have the same exact internals. So that's it. I hope this video helped you to decide if the iPhone XS is going to be worth your time this year. It's an excellent smartphone. It just has a lot of competition within its own ecosystem of smartphones, and that is the XR and the XS Max. But I think if you buy it, you're still going to be very happy with the device. It works very well, and it's an Apple phone, so it's going to last year. It's going to hold its value. Are you buying an iPhone XS? Are you skipping this one out? Do you have no interest at all in this iPhone XS? Do you think that Apple should have just not released this one? What do you think about this device? Let us know down below. This is Nick